presiding official is Lieutenant Colonel Kirby Bauer, retired. At this time, I would like to recognize a few distinguished visitors who are with us today. We have Sergeant Summers' wife, Michelle Huck Summer. We have his mother, Bonnie Summer. We have his daughter, Rachel Summer. We have his son, Jesse Summer. We have his stepdaughter, Maddie Huck. And we have his stepson, Nate Huck. We have his sister, Sandy Summer. And his mother-in-law, Carol Schneider. And his father-in-law, Don Schneider. And several of his military friends, retired Master Sergeant Don DeGroot. Dutch. DeGroot. And Senior Master Sergeant Jason Matoxen. I would also like to welcome Colonel Darrell Young, Commander, 934th Airlift Wing. Colonel Michael Oakes, Commander, Mission Support Group. Colonel Charles Hurry, Wing Inspector General. And Captain Sabra Brown, Chief of Public Affairs. And also I would like to welcome Squadron Commanders, Chiefs, and First Sergeants. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please stand for the entrance of the official party, playing of the national anthem. Service members, please stand at attention for the national anthem. Civilian guests are invited to stand and place their hand over their heart for the national anthem. Chaplain Blake, would you please come forward and give the invocation?
Please join me in a moment of prayer. O God of heaven and earth, on this beautiful day we give thanks for the faithful service which Technical Sergeant Bob Summer has rendered to his country over the past 24 years. We have benefited from the gifts and talents that you have given to him, especially in the field of photojournalism. Today we ask that your blessing rest upon him and his lovely family. May they know your joy today and in the years ahead. We ask all of this in your most holy and blessed name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Blake. Lieutenant Colonel Bauer will now present the Air Force Commendation Medal. Attention to orders. A citation to accompany the award of the Air Force Commendation Medal, Department of the Air Force. This is to certify that the Air Force Commendation Medal, Fort Oakleaf Cluster, has been awarded to Technical Sergeant Robert P. Summer for meritorious service, 4 December 2010 to 4 July 2012. Technical Sergeant Robert P. Summer distinguished himself by meritorious service while assigned to the 934th Airlift Wing from 4 December 2010 to 4 July 2012. During this period, Sergeant Summer demonstrated exceptional skill and dedication through his support of numerous events at the 934th Airlift Wing, as well as the 99th Air Base Wing, during the red flag exercise, green flag exercise, and the Aviation Nation Air Show, the largest public event in Nevada. Sergeant Summers' technical prowess was instrumental in the proper documentation of a sling load retrieval of a crashed F-15 in the Nevada desert. His ability to capture challenging images in extreme environments is testament to his successful application of creative and fascinating photographic techniques. Appropriately, Sergeant Summers was named the Air Force Photographer of the Year for 2010, his second year in a row. The distinctive accomplishments of Sergeant Summers culminate a distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, I would like to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Kirby Bauer, former Commander, Communications Flight.
Thanks, Scott. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Bob's retirement. Thank you for coming. 24 years is a very impressive amount of time to spend serving your country. I'm really glad to see a nice turnout for this gentleman here. I met him a few years ago when I was actually his commander, working over in Tom, and was immediately impressed by a couple of things. And if you go out to his Facebook page, you'll see what I'm talking about. Just made a couple of notes. He keeps a lot of good notes, trust me. One of the things is his great devotion to both the service and his family. When Bob came to us, it was right before he was having some issues with his wife, and you could see the thought process going on in his head about, do I take the time off and deal with the personal things, or do I work for the service? Because he's dedicated to both, that, just that deeply. I think he made the right choice. So, it's just a thing that you see in Bob and everything that you see if you talk to him on Facebook, you talk to him after this event. He's very, very, very devoted to his family and to the service. And we appreciate that for the 24 years of service that you've been in. They always talk about retirement being the end of one chapter and the start of another, and it's true. Things do change once you retire. Your uniform shrinks. If you don't expose them to light once in a while, I'll apologize to the people in the front row if I exhale. Watch out for flying buttons. So that will happen. You need to spend some more time with your family. You get that additional weekend we were talking about earlier. It sounds like you've got some plans for that coming up, so that'll be awesome. The honey-do list gets done a lot faster because you have time to do it now. Get that extra weekend. And you do start to miss your Air Force family. You will, guaranteed. You won't miss things like the ORI. You won't miss things like the exercises, putting on a rubber mask, putting on the suit, waking up at 2:30 in the morning, diving under tables and chairs. Yeah. You probably won't miss that too much, except when you're sitting in the VFW talking horror stories with people. But you will miss the friends and family that you made here in the Air Force. And I've noticed that as well. And I think I touched on it briefly during Shannon and my retirement. That is something that will follow you for the rest of your life. You could run into people anywhere in the airport. You can run into people overseas. Just sitting down at the VFW or the Legion. Hey, I remember you. Or just walking up to some perfect stranger with an Air Force hat on and saying, prior service? Let me buy you a beer. It is a family, and we will miss you, and hopefully you won't miss us too much and come back and visit. So, that's pretty much all I had to say. I looked up on his, like I said, went out on his Facebook page, everything you want to know about him is out there. But those were the big points that I saw about the man. Just the deep devotion to the family and the country. And we want to thank you for that. Thank you to his family for allowing Bob to serve as well. I know it's hard. I'm an Air Force spouse myself, and an Army spouse. I know it's hard when your family member gets pulled away for days, months, weeks, sometimes years nowadays. It's a very difficult thing, and thank you for allowing me to serve. So, that's about all I have to say. Bob, thank you again for your service, and thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you, sir. gentlemen, if you would please stand as the retirement order is read. Publish order. Attention to orders. Reserve order number EK 2857. Technical Sergeant Bob Summer is relieved from current assignment, 934th Airlift Wing, Minneapolis-St. Paul Air Reserve Station, International Airport, Minnesota, and assigned to the Ready Reserve Section effective July 4th, 2012, by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please be seated while Lieutenant Colonel Bauer presents the retirement certificate. The certificate of appreciation will now be presented. The certificate reads, Certificate of Appreciation for Service in the Armed Forces of the United States. I extend to you my personal thanks and sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. Your commitment and dedication have been an inspiration for those who will follow in your footsteps, and for all Americans who join me today in saluting you for a job well done. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, Barack Obama, Commander-in-Chief. And now the Certificate of Retirement. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents, greeting. This is to certify that Technical Sergeant Robert Summer, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Air Force on July 4th, 2012. Signed, Lieutenant General Charles E. Stenner, Jr., Chief of Air Force Reserve, and Norton A. Schwartz, Chief of Staff, United States Air Force. At this time, I would like to ask Jesse to please come forward to pin on Sergeant Summer's retirement pin. Thank you, Jesse.